for the first 12 or 13 years of my career, I was only an entrepreneur, working full-time in companies. And a seminal moment for me was I was in Frankfurt Airport, and there was a family. It was a husband and wife and two daughters that were about the age of my daughters. And I started to cry. And I'm now choking up because I was like, why am I in Frankfurt? Like, really? Why am I here? My daughters did not ask to come into this world. And yet I'm in Europe, and yeah, I'm a fancy pants, and I'm chairman's preferred on US Air, and I got all these free upgrades, and everything's great. And I realized that wasn't who I am. So I realized that I wanted to be present for my family while I was also able to earn a living. So my father used to say, make a living, make a life, and make a difference. He stole it from somebody, I'm sure. But I think that's something that I have always aspired to be. I don't know that I'll ever make a difference, but I'm aspiring for these three categories. And so what I did, I don't know about other people, but what I did is I got off the hamster wheel and I became an independent management consultant for 17 years. You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I earned a good living, but that was not my point. My point was I was at the bus stop every day in the morning, and I was at the bus stop every day in the evening. And every minute that I wasn't with my kids and I didn't need to be with my kids, I was working to make a living. And that worked for me. Now, granted, I realized in reflection that I worked 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 17 years, because that was what was required to do that. But it worked great for me. And I'm proud to say that I have a real relationship with my daughters. And yeah, your 40-year-old decade, I believe your 40s, in my opinion, are your prime earning decade for most people. I gave it up. Wouldn't change a thing. But this is just me, James. So you asked me how I measure success. I measure success through the relationships that I have with my people. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is my community. I feel that if you're a part of a community, you have an obligation to that community. It's not optional. If it's optional, then you're not part of that community. So I have, my family's a community, my neighborhood's a community, the Philadelphia business community is a community. If anybody finds me and writes me an email and says, hey, Rick, do you have time for a cup of coffee? The answer is yes, 100% of the time, 100% of the time. That's who I want to be. And so that's how I measure success, because those emails come in. And when at the end of it, I get a smile from somebody that says, thank you, Rick, for helping me. If I have a car or don't have a car, or if I have a boat or don't have a boat, that doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to me. But James, you asked me about how I measure success. That's how I judge nobody. So what you consider success, it may be different. But hopefully that provides an answer to the question.